I'm Ginny Maxwell. I'm born and raised on St. Thomas, and I'm a model, scout, and manager.
Growing up on the island of St. Thomas, Ginny was your typical young Virgin Islander.
I loved growing up in St. Thomas. I grew up on the north side. My dad's a surfer. Mom's an artist and teacher. Just really loved the ocean, but I definitely was looking forward to spreading my wings as soon as I could and getting to a bigger city.
Ginny's path to fashion started after she graduated from Antilles School, thanks to a program through the Rotary Club that allowed her to study abroad in Italy for a year.
After that, I went to FIT here in New York and majored in photography. Was really interested in photography, fashion, in some way or another, and I wasn't quite sure exactly what I wanted to do.
She would end up on the talent side for a spell, but wasn't in love with the modeling life.
I'd done a little bit of modeling and I loved the idea of it, but it turned out like I loved everything except for actually getting my picture taken. Didn't really like clothes in particular. I liked photography, but I liked the people and I liked the development process. And then St. Thomas comes back into the story.
As a teenager in college, she made her first discovery, and it happened to be a young aspiring model from St. Thomas.
My mom said, "Oh, you have to see Eric Winter, the artist's daughter, Lana. She's 12 years old. She's like 5'10" now. Like, you would love to photograph her. She's just gotten so tall and beautiful." So next time I was home at Christmas, I met up with her and took her pictures. And then I'd been working with elite models here in New York, doing some shooting for them. And I brought the pictures in and they were like, "We want to sign her, she's amazing." So that was super exciting. And they said, "You know, if you find other girls, you can make a commission. It's called being a mother agent." And I was like, now that is a job for me. Lana signed with Elite and she did campaigns for Abercrombie and Polo Sport, and it was really, really cool. But that was probably 97, 98. I was only 18, 19 myself at the time.
The business side of the modeling industry is what intrigued Ginny. And from that point on, she was all in.
So when I found out that scouting and being a mother agent was a job, it absolutely clicked for me. It just brought together all the parts that I enjoyed of photography, shooting the girls, shooting their first pictures, of teaching, mentoring, talking to them, that whole part. I took some courses at the New School in social work and kind of thought about going into that for a little while, and then realized that's literally what I do as a mother agent as well. It's really part therapy, part photography, and then part business.
She ended up moving back to St. Thomas and took a teaching job at Antilles School. It was there she discovered a young talent named Hannah Davis.
The turning point really came in 2001 after 9/11. I went back home to St. Thomas again for a while. And I had a great opportunity where Karen Bertrand, the art teacher at Antilles, had to go to the States for a surgery, and she was going to be gone for most of the whole school year. So I was able to take over her class for the year and take that time to just really kind of figure out what I wanted to do and take a break from New York for a bit and hang out, regroup. And that's when I started working with Hannah Davis. Right before I came back to New York, her mom and I had spoken. I'd known the family for my whole life. And Hannah was a freshman in that freshman class the year that I taught there at Antilles. And so that summer, Hannah came up and we went around to all the agencies and started working together. I placed her with IMG, and that's when things really, really kind of took off, because she did so well and I was able to be confident back in the city again and scouting, taking digital photos, bringing them straight into the agencies, figuring out my role as a mother agent and helping the girls develop, and figuring out really what that means.
After discovering Hannah, the industry gave Ginny the official stamp of approval. Her eye for talent became reputable, and her brand as a mother agent, even at such a young age, began to rise.
Definitely. When you find a few good faces, you become, known for finding good faces, and I really work hard to work with all of the agencies and keep up those relationships.
Ginny Edwards' development has been successfully finding and placing models for close to 20 years. Ginny says she hopes to continue the trend moving forward and strives to provide the opportunity to young people to find their passion.
A mother agent is basically the person who first finds a model. So they can submit their picture to you online, or it could be someone I walk up to. One of the girls who was here earlier, I found at a restaurant on spring break in Florida. There's like a big group of girls, and then there's the one, and you like run across the room and hope they don't think you're crazy. And then it's really a long-term commitment, because these girls are usually pretty young when I first meet with them. They're usually between 12 and 17. So it's a lot of helping guide them and seeing if this industry is something that's going to be right for them. They have to have the physical part, the height, the measurements, the face, the photogenic qualities, but they also have to figure out if it's the right path for them, and that can take a long time. So it's a lot of helping them figure out what photographers to shoot with, more so what photographers not to shoot with, what their image is going to be, what's going to be helpful versus damaging to their career. Really less is more. Nowadays it's even more about their social media, which is exhausting, really keeping it under wraps, then waiting, developing that side as well. And then when the time comes, I introduce them to agencies in bigger markets. So when that happens, when they're ready for that, I place them with an agency in, New York is the biggest market, but I also have girls in Miami, Los Angeles, Paris, London, Milan, Spain, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Sydney, pretty much anywhere that there's a modeling market. We work with them. That's another exciting thing about what I do. If I can find more people from the Virgin Islands and help them get to a level where they can bring awareness about things like what we're going through right now, that's the biggest goal.
While Ginny now calls Nashville, Tennessee home, she says her heart is always with the U.S. Virgin Islands.
It's just such a special place. I grew up sailing, boating a lot, snorkeling, pretty much grew up at Hall Bay. So that's kind of my special spot, the people down there, the culture. I love the music. Those are the things that stand out to me the most, that I miss the most. The things that no one understands when you're just put on jam band and everyone is like, what is that?